Hey guys, welcome back. I am in full glam mode today. I've had rollers in all day. Well, not all day. I'm in London. Obviously, I've got a different backdrop. But I feel like I record these on a Saturday, and Saturday is the only day, which I didn't really realise until I started doing these videos, but Saturday is the only day where I actually have some time, I have a minute to myself, and B, it's probably the only day that I am quite social through the week, but it's the only day I actually like give myself time to get ready for plans. And what I've started to do is I've just got into the habit of getting ready like an hour, oh the TV's just gone off, an hour earlier than what I need to do. So then I can record these videos, and I don't know why, but I just feel like in this state of mind, when I'm like getting ready, going out, or like going to dinner, like tonight is my best friend's birthday, so I'm a bit more glam than usual. But I just feel like I'm like in the right headspace to talk, which is, I don't know if that's a weird thing, but I was just thinking about it while I was getting ready. And I was like, why is it that this is the time that I do these videos? But anyway, I obviously feel great. I don't want to speak. It's just the way it falls into my week. And this is why you get 700 different versions of me, but I think that's quite nice because we all have loads of different versions of ourselves. Anyway, let's get into the topic. So the topic of the week is to stop being so hard on ourselves. And when I tell you, I was going to say drum roll please, but I am honestly the queen of being hard on myself. I always have been. I'm not so bad anymore, but I am. Have you ever had a day when you get to the end of the day and you're like, fuck me, I am exhausted? And you're not exhausted because of physical activity or work's being intense. You're exhausted because of your own damn mind, because all you've done all day is tell yourself how shit you are, how much you can't do stuff, how different to them you are, why don't I look like them, I'm too big, I'm too small, I'm too tall, I don't look right, I'm not cool enough, I'm not smart enough, I can't do that. And then you get to the end of the day and you're literally like, ugh, on your sofa, on your bed. You go to bed at 7 o'clock, you eat your tea in bed, and tea is dinner for them people in the south or in the rest of the world, and you watch Netflix for 7 hours, and then it gets to 10 o'clock and you're like, fuck me, I have wasted my day. And it's all because you've spoken to yourself like absolute shite all day. And so I'm here to tell you that you need to stop being hard on yourself. You need to wake up. You need to break through the cracks of telling yourself that you're shit, because you're absolutely not. Like, no, I've genuinely, have you, ask yourself this question, have you ever in your life met anyone who's shit? Like, completely, truly shit at anything. They might be a dick, you might not like them, but they're not shit, and neither are you. So you have to start to notice. I talk about noticing loads in these videos, but you have to start to notice when you're doing it. And a lot of the time when you're exhausted, it's because you're emotionally drained, because you've pissed yourself off so much, because you're talking so much shit about yourself. So I'm going to tell you how to get out of that frame of mind and how to move on with your little self, because you shouldn't be talking to yourself in this way. So the first thing is, when you're laying in bed, when you're eating shit, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, when you're exhausted, when you're telling yourself that you're not enough, is what is your reality versus your thoughts? They're often two very different things. So I'll give you an example. Sometimes I will get home and I'm like, oh my God, I'm massive. I'll just use body, because we know body's been an issue throughout my life. So I can get home from work and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so massive, I am so fat, like this is gross, I can't deal with it myself anymore. And then what I do now is I actually look in the mirror. I take my clothes off and I look in the mirror and I'm like, huh? This is not big, this is not massive, I'm in shape, I'm toned, I have a physique that I like, and actually I have a physique that I've built for myself. When I was younger, you all know, I had 15-20 years of being overweight, of being chubby. I've built this body. Like, if anything, I should be fucking proud. Like, I should be so proud of who I am. And also, so what if I gained a couple of pounds? It's really not deep enough for me to go in on myself. And this is where the phrase, like, you wouldn't talk to a stranger like that, you wouldn't talk to a friend like that, that's where it actually comes from. Like, ignore all the hoo-ha on TikTok of speak to yourself how you would talk to your friend. Bullshit, because we don't do that. But this is where it gets deep, this is where it comes into play, this is where it comes into practice. Like, Take your clothes off and look at yourself. I wouldn't call anyone else fat all day, so why am I calling myself fat all day? It's just not, it's not a nice way to be, and it's not dealing with yourself with self-worth and self-respect. And so you have to really notice when you are talking to yourself in a way that's not real. Like, what is real and what's reality? I ask myself all the time, am I actually just saying this to myself, or is this real? Honestly, get into the habit of doing it, because it will genuinely change your life. Next one is give yourself a break. Genuinely, the same example that I gave in the intro to this video, like, have you ever got home and just thought, I am so exhausted? We, especially women, I think, but we as a generation, we're so hard on ourselves. We're not this, we're not that, we're comparing ourselves. Like, give yourself a break. And this is where things like gratitude comes in. Or, do you know what I've started doing that I find really hard? I don't find it hard anymore, but I did at first. Telling yourself the things that you're good at. Like, there's things in my career, for example, that I'm really good at, and they're actually the reason why I've got so far. So things like building relationships. In my career, I am insane at networking. Like, there's genuinely no one better than me at networking. I'm so good at it, and that's my lever to then enter different worlds. So you have to start realising, one, what you're good at, but also stop telling yourself what you're not good at and focus on the things that you are good at. We spend so much time telling ourselves that we can't do this, we're not like them, I'll never be like them, I'll never be able to achieve that, I'm shit, I can't lift that much weight, I can't lose that much weight, I could never get that job, I could never build a following on social media, I could never cook like them, I could never get the boyfriend, oh my god, look at their marriage. Like, it's crazy, but we all do it. I do it all the time, and we all do it, but you have to give yourself a break. If this is where therapy comes in, and I know therapy is quite it's not that taboo anymore, but a lot of people still don't go. One, because they might not be able to access it, or they don't have the means, or they can't find a therapist, or they don't want to go, or they feel uncomfortable. However, what therapy does, and you can do this, I'm telling you this because you can do it with anyone, you can do it with anyone that you feel comfortable with, anyone that you trust. What therapy does is it allows you to say things out loud. And so when you say things out loud, like, oh my god, I've told myself today I'm not good at this, I can't do that, I feel shit, I look shit, I eat shit, I am shit, and you say it out loud, and you have to almost like stop yourself before you speak, and then you feel shame because you've spoken to yourself like that. However, if you hadn't have ever said that out loud, you would probably never notice that you're talking to yourself in that way. So this is where therapy comes in. Therapy is not always about cognitive approach, or the psychology behind this, or this is what you need to implement into your life to get to X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it's about just stating facts, and whenever in your life, unless I'm quite lucky because a lot of my friends are like me, they think in the way that I think, but I've accumulated them over years and years and years of growth. But a lot of people don't actually speak about their feelings or their emotions or what they're thinking. And so you never actually get the opportunity to say what is on your mind or what you're saying to yourself. And when you do, sometimes you're like, fucking hell, I've just said that to myself. Like, this is horrendous. I shouldn't be speaking to myself in that way. And so if you don't have a therapist, or you can't go to therapy, or therapy is not available to you, or you don't want to go to therapy, or you're not comfortable with it, either speak to someone that you trust about the way that you're feeling, and it needs to be a two-way conversation. It can't be going to, I don't know, your mom who's really not into self-development and doesn't get mental health. It needs to be someone that hears you, or you can journal. If you journal about it and then read back through your journal, sometimes you will genuinely be like, as if I've just said that to myself, that's horrendous. It's all about self-awareness, but you honestly have to stop digging away at yourself, because it's eating you up a lot more than you realise, and you don't deserve to be beaten up. You don't deserve to be bullied by yourself. You deserve to have a bit of freedom and a bit of space to allow yourself to grow and move and actually be comfortable in yourself and start to like yourself for who you are. This next one's really funny, because I used to be that girl in the last step that was like, oh, you're so shit, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not good, like this is cringe, you're so cringe, you can't dress like that. And now I am such an advocate for self-love. Like, not even self-love, I think we've got it all wrong. I think we think self-love is like spending an hour putting makeup on or whatever. Self-love is actually looking after yourself. It's knowing yourself well enough to know when to rest, when to stop, when to find balance, when to push back on someone, when to speak up, when not to speak up, when to honestly keep quiet in a situation, when to grow your self-worth and pull back from something. Like, all of these things are self-love. We think self-love is like putting a hot water bottle on our tummy and laying on the couch in a blanket and like doing a nice facial or having a bath. All of those things, yes, they are classed as self-love, but real actual self-love that's meaningful and that will make a difference to you is sitting down and saying, fuck me, I did a great job today. Bloody hell, like, look how far I've come. Look how far I have come this year. Do you know? Self-love is when someone's taking the piss out of you, saying, actually, I'm not going to deal with that anymore. Self-love is really validating yourself and bringing yourself up to speed with where you and your mind put everybody else. Like, you are not, granted there are various different levels to life and to people, but you are not any lower than anybody else. The only reason you're lower than everybody else is because you're putting yourself there. And so real self-love and real self-worth is actually being like, they're there and so am I, and stop treating myself any less than everybody else, because that's what pulls you down. That's what's making you miserable. It's not the world or my mum did this or everyone else did this. Yes, all of those things matter and all of those things shape you to who you become, but actually with a bit of neuroscience and with a bit of psychology and with a bit of therapy and with a bit of teaching yourself, you can slowly start to get yourself back to where you need to be. You don't always have to be down here all the time, and this is what I've learned. It's so hard and it takes time. But being down here is where I always just allowed myself to be, and now I'm up here, and sometimes I'm up here and sometimes I'm down there, but the majority of the time I'm here, and I don't let people talk to me like shit, and I don't let people walk all over me, and I don't do things I don't want to do anymore just to people please. Like, I put myself on a level, I hold myself to a standard, and I hold myself accountable, and I hold my self-worth in really high regard, because if you don't, nobody else is going to. And there's a reason why people disrespect you. There's a reason why people walk all over you. There's a reason why people aren't kind to you, and it's because you aren't kind to yourself. It's because you aren't showing yourself self-worth. It's because you aren't loving yourself. And it's taken me a long time to realise, but the reason that that's happening is because you aren't giving it to yourself, and if you aren't giving it to yourself, other people can't give it to you. We are, it sounds so cringe, but we are so magnetic. Look around you, the things, the people, the lifestyle, the mindsets, they're all a reflection of who you are. Yes, some things are out of your control, but, sorry, I've got a hair on my arm. But your inner circle, your best friends, the people closest to you, they're all magnetic to you. They're all a similar mindset to you. They're all a similar lifestyle to you. And if you don't like what you see, you have to start making changes. And when it's really hard, like I've spoken in other videos about changing friendships and pulling away from certain people and growing closer to others. And when you get to a point where you're so content in yourself and your friends and your environment and your financial situation and your social situation and where you go out to eat, where you go out to drink, where you go to the gym, like, it's all an accumulation of who you are and what you reflect and what you attract and what you magnetize towards yourself. Like, it's so important the way that you carry yourself and hold yourself in a regard. I won't say hold yourself in high regard, but hold yourself in a regard that shows yourself self-love, self-worth and self-validation, because you don't deserve to be down there. You deserve to be on a level with everyone else. So give yourself a break and stop being so hard on yourself. Another thing that I ask myself all the time, like, is it really that deep? If I'm not much of an overthinker anymore. I used to massively overthink everything. But if I ever get across a situation and I don't know what to do, or I can't decide on something, I can be a bit indecisive sometimes, ask yourself, is it really that deep? I do, and it often gives me the answer to something, even what do I want to drink? I don't drink a lot, so it's a lot for me to say yes to a wine, or it takes a lot of thought to say yes or no to a wine. And then I think, is it really that deep? Do I want it or do I not? Like, just ask yourself, is it that deep? Do I this? Do I that? And again, it's perspective. It does really put the decision-making process into perspective, or what you're thinking about into perspective. And if it's not that deep in terms of what do I want to eat, do I want to go on a date with that guy? If it's really not deep, then make the decision that's right for you. Make the decision that feels right in your gut. And if it is that deep, take some time to process it, take some time to think, but ask yourself the question, is it really that deep? And if it's not, you know what to do. Just make the decision and crack on. Like, stop sweating the small stuff. It's really not helping you at all. The final thing is that you are enough. You are so enough. Going back to what I said in a couple of steps ago, the only person that's going to make you feel validated, you might have a partner that helps, you might have friends that help, you might have a mum that helps, but deep down, the only person that's going to make you feel like you are enough is you. And that's by loving yourself, taking care of yourself, the way that you speak to yourself. And what you need to do is notice a lot of the time how you're speaking to yourself, how you're looking after yourself, how you're taking care of yourself, holding yourself accountable. What is my goal? What is my goal, and how am I going to get there? If what a lot of people do wrong is set 500,000 goals, or they listen to 500,000 podcasts and then they change the goals all the time. What is my one goal? Where do I want to be this time next year, and how am I going to get there? And hold yourself accountable all the time. What you're doing then is you're building proof and you're building evidence that I am enough. If my goal, I'll use weight again, if my goal is to, I'm not even going to say lose weight, is to be toned, have a body that I look in the mirror and think, fuck me, I like you. I like you. I like the way you look. I'm proud of what you've become and I love you. How do I get there? How do I get there every day? And how I get there every day is consistency. So in a week, what does consistency look like to me? And then show up for yourself on those days. It's not about every day. It's not about being draining. It's not about hammering yourself. It's not about burning yourself out. It's about showing up for yourself. And when you show up for yourself, you build proof that you are enough. The same thing goes with friends. I don't know, you might have a toxic friend and you constantly say to yourself, the next time she does this, I'm going. The next time she speaks to me like that, the next time she throws me under the bus like that, the next time she treats me like that, I'm going. And then she does it, and she does it, and she does it, and you're still there. Being a mug, being a doormat, being a dickhead. And so what you need to do is, you need to take steps. The next time she does it, what am I going to do? This is how I'm going to react. Use the Mel Robbins rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to have a conversation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to say something. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to defend myself, and I'm going to rationalise it. And if I don't get the response that I want, which you probably won't if your friend's that much of a dickhead, then I'm going to have self-worth, and I'm going to have self-love, and I'm going to validate myself, and I'm going to walk away because I don't need that person in my life anymore. Like, it's so hard to do these things, and it's hard on the other side when you've made the decision or whatever it is, whatever situation you're in, but apply it to that situation. And how can I show up for myself? Because you are enough, and we all spend way too much time telling ourselves that we're not, and actually we are. We are. Like, you can't say it any more plainer. Think about it. Who in your world, who do you know that's not enough? There isn't anyone. There's genuinely no one that you surround yourself with who's not enough. And so it's crazy that we tell ourselves all the time, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. And we narrate our world and we narrate our days building evidence that we aren't enough. You have to do the reverse of that, and you have to build up trust, and you have to build up evidence for yourself so that you can constantly say, I am enough. I am enough. Look at who I am. Look at my surroundings. And it's not about being a boss bitch, and it's not about being the fucking biggest ego in the room. It's about just being you. I have also spent so much of my time thinking I need to be the biggest fashionista, the girl with the most makeup, the biggest hair, like the biggest walk, the biggest voice, the biggest following, and it's all bullshit. That's all a measure of vanity. You don't need any of that. All you need to do is be a good person. You need to show up for yourself. You need to have self-respect and you need to have self-worth. And it's all about the people that you surround yourself with and your attitude towards yourself. But the steps in this video will help you to get there. But the next time you're having a down day or a shit day or you're beating yourself up, just tell yourself that you are enough and go out there and build evidence. And it's fucking hard. I know that it's so hard, but the only person that's going to get you out of the rut that you're telling yourself that you're shit, that you're not good enough, is you. And so show yourself a bit of self-love, be kind to yourself, stop being so hard on yourself, and go out there and build proof that you are enough, because I promise you, you are. Like, if I can do it, genuinely, so can you. So yeah, I'm here for you, and if you do need anything, DM me. I know some of you do talk to me on DMs, and it's really cute. It's really nice that we're building this little community. So yeah, anything at all, you know where I am. But thank you so much for watching this. I'm gonna go out now and I'm gonna celebrate my best friend, and I really can't wait. I've not been out in London for a long time, so yeah, enjoy your Sunday evening. Show yourself some self-love and some self-worth, and I will see you back here next Sunday. Love you. Goodbye.